Hello, this is Harriet Grayson, your host and producer of Community Culture Showcase. And today, in recognition of May being Mental Health Awareness Month, I have with me 3 guests, and we're going to talk about this very important issue, especially when it comes to dealing with children and adolescents. It's kind of one of those things that people have gone, hush, hush, you know, in your family. But I must say, with the epidemic in drug abuse, which has been hitting communities all over the country, there's been a kind of increased awareness of the whole larger picture of mental health. So I'm really happy to have with me 3 guests who are going to talk with us a little bit about what kind of resources are available for families, because it can be an extremely overwhelming event. And there's like, who do I turn to? So my 3 guests will give us a whole bunch of information. Take out your notepads and write them down. They also have provided us with some information. You can go on the website and take a look. So it's a great pleasure for me to invite my guests. Starting right here, Kat, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and why you're interested in this particular kind of issue? What got you involved?
I have 3 children, and they each have their own challenges in life, and one more than the other 2. And I went into college, got my human services degree, and this is a great opportunity for me to give to society and my experience.
Okay, as a parent of
yes.
children. And I would assume because you yourself didn't know where to turn when you had issues to deal with.
There was a lot of times when I had to really do a whole lot of research to figure out where to get services. And back then, 20 years ago, there wasn't really much about autism.
Yes.
And
yes.
that's what I deal with at home is there's variations of autism, and each child has their own struggles and challenges in life, and it makes parenting even more challenging. And there needs to be more support out there.
Oh, heartbreaking, I can imagine. Absolutely, absolutely heartbreaking. Absolutely. Jed, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and how you got involved with the group?
My name is Jet. I am currently the parent co-chair for SEMHSOC, which is Southeast Mental Health System of Care. 2013 was my son's 3rd inpatient, and he was, let me see, he's 13, 10. So he went voluntary, and we found out there was some misdiagnosis and stuff, so we had to detox him, and I didn't know where to turn for services at all. So all you need to do is give me a key, a name, and I will Google, research, do whatever I have to, and it ended up here at this table for Southeast Mental Health System of Care, and it's been phenomenal just to collaborate with other people, to find more services, to help other people find services, and now I am the parent co-chair.
And so you provide, do parents call you up and ask for your advice? Is that how it happens?
Yes, if it, not just for mental health neither, but Jet, where can I get food? Jet, where's the bank? Where's this? And so I help out, and you can't just help in one area. You have to help all areas. Right.
So it's kind of a problem, but it actually affects everything, all the dynamics of family living.
Yes, definitely. And early intervention is very, very, very important.
And I would assume from everything I know that the services out there have been extremely limited. Now,
yes.
I live in Rhode Island. There's a whole article about the fact when you have little children, there's nobody even who is a physician who can actually even diagnose the problem properly, and the reluctance to give medicines out to small children. So yeah, this is a great service that you're doing. And you got involved with them how many years ago?
2013.
2013, so a couple of years ago.
Yep.
And what brought you to the group?
My son not having anywhere to go, nowhere to turn. We had to detox him, took him off meds, and now what do? He's stuck at the age of 5, and I needed to find life skills and regular social skills, and he's still in groups and everything to this day. So it's working out a lot, but there's also new things coming that physicians can diagnose now. There's a number they can call 24 hours, and there's a lot of things going on since the Sandy Hook, and there's a PA 13178 that is initiating all physicians to be mandated to do certain things. So there's a lot of stuff happening with mental health with adolescents, but nobody knows unless you tell somebody.
Okay, so if a parent is watching this and they think their kid, or they know there's something terribly wrong with their child, they bring them to the pediatrician doesn't seem to know what to do. Is there a quick place where people can turn to initially just to do a little search?
Come to SEMHSOC.
Okay.
We are open. It's supposed to be 51% parents and families at the table. We definitely do not have that. We go for diversity. We go for culturally competent, home-based services. Come to the table, be educated, put your feedback in, and tell others how it's supposed to be and how you need it, what works, what don't work. Without that, they'll never have it fixed.
And they can find you on Facebook?
Yes, Facebook with SEMHSOC or Southeast Mental Health System of Care. They can type in, and there's numbers to call. There's rapct.org, WRAPCT.org, which gives the 25 different collaboratives in Connecticut that Jean will actually talk on. And there's so many opportunities. I've took grant writing through being at these tables. I've gotten a job through mental health at this table, turned my 17-year dental career around into the mental health field. I don't hurt people no more, I help people. So yes, it's nice. There's so many opportunities, and when you become educated, you become empowered.
Absolutely, that's wonderful, wonderful message. Education is the run to empowerment.
Yes.
Absolutely. Jean, so why don't you tell us a little about you and how you came to this whole issue to begin with?
Well, I came to this through my work. I have worked for Noank Community Support Services for actually 33 years.
Okay.
And Noank Community Support Services actually started out with group homes for adolescent girls with mental health issues.
Oh.
And so through the years, I've done a variety of jobs with the agency, and I'm now the Director of Residential Services for the agency. And it was through working with other providers and working with the Department of Children and Families that I came to the Southeastern Mental Health System of Care Collaborative. And I have been involved. They've started out in about, I think, the 1990s, and our agency has been involved with the system of care from that time.
So you have a whole bunch of providers who are part of this big umbrella organization?
Yes. So the system of care really is, it's not a program, it's really a philosophy of care, which, provides, we provide a forum for the community to collaborate and to develop new and existing resources, to advocate, just like Jet said, to educate, people on children's mental health, behavioral health.
And it's from the hospitals. There are not too many hospitals around that actually are involved with mental health. We have, as you mentioned there earlier, there's one psychiatric hospital in this area, which is.
But the gist of working with children right now, and I think it has been for many years, is to really keep and families, to keep families together. So we wouldn't want to,
we wouldn't want to hospitalize.
Exactly.
Them.
So
Okay.
if we can provide services in the community that help the youth and the family. And system of care really is family-driven, youth-guided. It's community-based. We're culturally and linguistically competent. And just like Jet said, we're supposed to, we really say we have 51% from families.
Right.
And the other is from providers.
Okay. All right.
So we meet monthly, every third Thursday of the month, at the United Way in Gales Ferry from 9 to 11.
9 a.m. to 11 a.m.
9 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Okay.
And we have a variety of, between providers and family members and youth. I think we have well over 100 people. Not that everybody comes
at one time,
to the meeting at one time.
Right.
People, variety of different people come at different times. But we usually always have 20 to 30 people at our table. And we talk about a variety of issues. We try to, again, educate all of us on what is going on in the community, what the needs are, also, what providers are doing to help meet those needs.
What's the number one need in the community in your estimation? What do people really need?
What do people really need?
I have to say
I think for
resources.
family, knowing what's out there,
Okay,
right? And I think the other thing that we often talk about at the system of care is that there's no wrong door. Like we want people to be able to come. If you come to NOANC, we're going to share other information that families and youth needs, information about other providers, so that we're all working collaboratively together, so that families really don't have to call up, our organization and see what we do, and then when they need something else, call, another agency. So it's really kind of giving information, like all of us working together to get the information for what families and youth need.
When a parent goes to these meetings or contacts you, what's the first thing they ask? What do they say that they need? What's in the parents' minds about what they think they actually need?
They need services for their children.
Okay.
And those services can be, and I'm going to, go to Jet for this because you came as a parent, right? So I don't know if you want to tell us a little bit about your experience.
I have to say that I was very, very frantic because I didn't know exactly what I need. I just know I needed peace in my home and how to communicate with my child without knowing I need to communicate with my child.
Okay.
So these services, they have in-home services like ICAPS, which is acronym, help me.
Intensive family.
They come into your house as therapists and they help you with your child and organization and coping skills where it's in their environment versus an office.
Oh, right.
They also
Okay.
have like care coordination, which is a step down where care coordination is a wrap services around the whole family. So is there somebody who helped you when you were in 8th grade and there's still a good contact to help you, then they would bring that person to the table. So they wrap services around the whole family, including the child, and he has or she has a say in everything that they need too.
Right.
So they listen to me, they listen to the child, and then they have, okay, well, what about this? And then it's what you need, not what anybody else needs, including DCF has changed the way they do things. So DCF used to say, oh, you
That's
sit
Child and
outside.
Family Services.
Right.
Yes. Now everything is about kinship and keeping kids at home. And like she said, the inpatient would be last resort.
Right.
So now we have options for 211. So if your child is out of control, you can't control them, nobody else can control them, and you're a fear for safety, you don't call 911. You call 211, but make sure you hit 1 right after you hit 211, or else you're going to be on hold for a long time. And you get a live person, and they assess it, and then you have emergency services for psych that come out and assess the situation and say, okay, you sit down, let me talk to the kid. And everything is and it opens the door for more services. Nobody takes your kid, DCF don't come, the cops don't come. I mean, unless it's very, urgent. But
serious.
even the schools can call 211. I found out one school here in New London doesn't know anything about 211. So they called me, they said, well, your son, this was just 2 weeks ago actually, and your son is out of control and we can't, we're a fear for safety, so can we call the ambulance and send him to Nat-Trog? I'm like, well, if that's what you feel needs to be done, I'm going to take you, because he's in a clinical day school. He's for that. So if you feel do what you got to do. But I said, do you guys call 211 versus 911? She said, what is that? Because she just came from Rhode Island, and she's a new director. She doesn't know. So now this Thursday I have 211, which is Emergency Mobile Psych, plus myself going there, and we're going to present on what they have and what they can offer so we can eliminate 911. But if I never said that, nobody would know.
Yeah,
so
the
this
cops
is
would
what
show
the
up, right?
collaboration is about. Everywhere you go, you have to network. Early intervention, the more you know, the better it is. And everybody knows about services. So when the parents first call, they're very frantic. They kind of know what they want, but they can't put it into words. Where the providers come around, they sit at the table, and they help word it and let you see clearly. And then you say, okay, I need this. Like I had an advocate. I fired her. I'm like, listen, you're too slow. No offense. She's a very nice lady, but I'm like, listen, I need things done now. So I already got the PPT. I got this. I got that. I mean, there's local
But it's really, I think it's about putting a care plan
Yes.
together for you based on what your needs are.
Yes.
But you're the one that drives it. Like
Right.
the providers are at the table to express ideas, to just let the families know what is in the community that they might need. But it's really driven from you
Yep.
and your child based on what you know.
Right.
You know what you need the best, right?
So if the provider says, well, we're going to take your
Yeah.
kid fishing to give you a break, give you some respite. My kid don't like fishing. He wants to
Right.
go roller skating.
Right. Right.
So this is what,
Absolutely.
that's what it's about. And it's all about the families. It really
I'll
is.
tell you an interesting story. There is, we have in the fire and the police department, there was bills in different states passed that said, if you can't take care of your child, you can drop them
Right.
off at a fire station, right? So it was meant for people with babies.
Right.
And in fact, there were states where people were dropping off their teenage sons
Wow.
because they couldn't handle them.
Yeah.
They were such a difficult kind of thing, and they didn't want to call the police. So they literally dropped off kids. And then, of course, they've amended the law, so now it's
Yeah.
clearly for
Babies.
infants.
Right, infants.
But you can then assess because parents don't want to do that with their kid. They don't want to get rid of their child. I can't
Right.
imagine that.
Absolutely.
I'm the mother of two, grandmother of two. We don't want to get rid. But you can understand
Oh, yeah.
how people can become so overwhelmed.
It can get
Right.
overwhelming.
And the system is overwhelming. The system can be overwhelming. You're providers trying to help, but there's different things that you have to go through to be able to access this service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that becomes overwhelming. So another thing I think with the paperwork, exactly. So I think another thing that care coordination with the system of care, or just us getting together at our meetings, any way that we can make the system less overwhelming for everyone is something that we try to do.
Has there been changes on the minds of some of the major, the primary providers, the psychiatrists? Well, the pediatricians, I think when you talk about children is the first place. I mean, do pediatricians actually even know enough to be able to provide you the kind of information, or do you have to feed it to them so that they go out and give you some kind? I'm thinking like insurance. You get
Yeah.
your pediatrician. If you see a child psychiatrist, well, that's a real specialist. So the pediatrician naturally wants to do whatever he or she can do, but sometimes you could, as a parent, say,
Yeah.
you know what, I don't think this is working. I mean, do you have that kind of support where you can tell the pediatrician, the nurse practitioner, even social workers who just don't know how to deal with this stuff?
I mean, with the system of care, I think if a family needs an advocate to go with them to doctor's appointments,
Yeah.
to
At
PPTs
school, yep.
at school, parent placement team meetings, those can be provided through other agencies.
And
right?
also are very limited and have waiting lists too. So the more we empower the families in the community is better. They can be their own advocates.
Exactly.
And
Right.
that's what
Exactly.
I
With
hope.
the budget cuts.
Yeah.
Oh, don't get me
Yes.
started.
Yeah.
Yeah. So would you
So,
say the driving force in the stuff that you really want to do is to educate the parents and the other members of the family to kind of be knowledgeable enough they can deal with providers? Doctors, nurses can
Yes.
be very resistant
Yeah.
to, they seem, what do you know? I was trained, I see all these people, so no. But in fact,
Well, the same way that the parents and families need to be educated, the providers do too, which is why they have bylaws of 51% at this table. Because how can the providers know what to do without the parents saying, no, that doesn't work. This worked.
Right.
That don't work.
Right.
This is going to work. So
Some days
I
that
always
works and
like-
other days that doesn't work.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I always like the, kind of a slogan out there is, it's not about us without us. Because, I mean, as far as a parent, parents know their children the best. So
Okay.
if we as providers are not looking to our parents,
how
right?
do you know?
How do we know?
It's like being blind.
Right.
well, I would say that since and a lot of stuff that's going on is geared to keeping the kid in the home.
Oh,
Just like,
yes.
you know, and that's true for
Absolutely.
regardless of what the problem is.
Absolutely.
You know, to keep the kid at home and to try and get the parent to be able to be a better parent.
Yep.
Sometimes, because sometimes the chaos is not only the kid's issue, but the kid creates so much chaos that the rest of the family is in the midst of chaos. And sometimes you need some third party to come in and almost
Intervene.
be like a referee, right? Exactly, exactly.
That's 211. Put the white flag up and help me, please.
Now,
It's emergency mobile psych. Actually,
Yeah.
211 would call emergency mobile psych, which is out of United Family Community Services.
Okay.
And they have clinicians
Yeah.
that will come out
To your
and-
house.
To your house.
Wherever you are.
Wherever you are.
School,
Yeah,
wherever.
Really kind of wherever you are.
Grocery
and
store.
work with
Yep.
the parent. They even come out to our group homes. If we, even though, we're trained staff in the
Right,
group home, but
right.
sometimes we need their help too. And they come out and they just help,
Defuse.
assess what's happening, diffuse the situation. Again, work out a plan. Where do we go from here? How can we make this work, right? Is everybody safe? How can everybody be safe?
And they help you conduct a crisis intervention plan. Like I had to go away for some time, and my son was going to be home, and sometimes I can't control him, so I know it's going to be hard for somebody else.
Yeah.
And instead of him going inpatient, we don't want that.
Right.
So we have a crisis intervention plan. Plan A is if this happens, what do you do? Okay, I breathe like this, like that. Okay, if that doesn't happen, then what? Well, I call my grandmother. If that doesn't happen, so we have to have a crisis
Right.
intervention plan and go over it frequently with the care providers, because
Right.
well, not care providers, but the caretakers, because you really don't know. And in the heat of the moment, when kids trying to jump out the window and trying to cut you, do this, that, then you don't. Where's that paper? You're not looking for that
Right,
paper.
right.
So yeah, it is. It's intense. It's very intense.
And has the thinking changed? I mean, the whole thing about parent involvement is like an old thing, but has the issue changed at all? Are there trends that are happening?
I think you come from an older. Your child is 37, where mine is 13. So we have a history here of change.
Of change, yes, definitely change, because I had definite challenges face to face as a single parent, work a full-time job,
Right.
take the kids to counseling, have a counselor come into the home, and then have them criticize because your place isn't as clean and you're dealing with everybody's issues and problems, and you're just kind of like trying to swim through the whole protocol. In the past 2 years, I've been working on paperwork to try to get services for my son, because I realize I'm at the age where I'm watching people younger than me suddenly dropping dead, and what happens to my son?
Right.
So now I've got some kind of a plan. He's on this waiting list for DDS services, but obviously the waiting list is so long that the parent actually has to become totally disabled or dead before they even take over. And with my son, he's not going to call for help. He just doesn't have it in him to even answer the phone or call someone or go over to a neighbor's house if there's a problem. And right now I'm working a part-time job rather than a full-time job. I've got him set up with DDS or SSDI money coming in to help financially. And I still got a whole mountain of paperwork to go through.
Yeah. Now, Kat, can I ask you a question though? Do you feel like, I think through the years we've been,
I've seen different,
it's been working towards, it used to be a lot of a medical model where it was, I'm the treater, I know what's best for you.
Right.
And that was, many years ago. And now we're not working, providers are not trying to work from that model. We're really trying to work from the collaborative model of we're working together, and you know what your family needs best, and you're the expert. I'm not the expert. I'm here to support you and
Right.
to give you, to guide you through, what I know about some services. But you're really the expert of your family. So do you see some differences in that?
Lately, I haven't really had that much experience with getting having to get services because I'm still trying to get
Yeah.
services for my son.
Okay.
And he falls between the cracks and long
Yeah.
waiting lists.
So that still seems to be the age-old,
Yeah.
Well,
age-old problem.
I would think, in Connecticut, which is a progressive state in
Yes.
many, many ways.
Right.
New England is probably one of the most progressive states outside of the West Coast. So at one time, the medical model was hospitalization.
Exactly.
Right.
I
Exactly.
mean, not for children, except in the most dire of circumstances.
Right.
But
Really for everybody.
But for everybody. And then, of course, I think some progressive thinking and some just want to saving money. You saw the closure of all the psychiatric
Yeah.
hospitals
Right.
supported by the state. And I don't think there's one that's opened
Yep.
at all. There's a
Inhumane.
few private hospitals out there, but there are no public hospitals. And then we had this whole issue of where, like, you go to Middletown, Connecticut, because the state hospital used to be there.
Yes.
You have all these majority men homeless with serious mental illnesses. Or if you put on the TV, the other tragedy is that the biggest collector of mental health patients is our jails,
Yes.
especially
Yes,
for men.
absolutely.
And
Yes.
even that is changing at the moment. Did you read that
Yes.
article that they said ages 18 through 24 or 25 now will be separated from the population of older?
Right.
So that these younger generations, where I guess one of the jails closed or something, so they're gonna make them separate so that they're not getting worse and
But
seeing worse things.
Right, and I think also the
we're
trend
doing
is,
mental
the
health.
trend too is about trauma.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
some of these people who are in the prison system, yes, they may have committed a crime, but they have experienced, a lot of trauma in their life. So even the prison system is working on, how do I help this person with their trauma
Right.
issues?
So you think
Right.
that's a source of a lot of mental health issues is trauma?
yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I went to a seminar.
Yeah.
They said that trauma now happens, not now
Yeah.
happens, the trauma happens in the womb. So I'm
Oh.
a victim of severe domestic violence, and I was pregnant with my child at the time. So the same way you're not supposed to drink or smoke weed or do anything when you're pregnant because it goes to the baby and stops development, that hormone, that fight or flight every single day, it goes to the baby and stops
Right.
development of the brain, which makes them cognitive. So my 13-year-old son is only 5 or 6 years old. But he's in 8th grade, but he's only doing 4th grade work.
Okay.
So you have a child who's 13, 177 pounds, I just found out. And you don't see him as a first grader or a kindergarten. They're like, why that kid can't sit still? Because he's only 5 years old. He's only 6 years old. Well, how many 6-year-olds can sit still?
So cognitively,
Cognitively, he's a lot younger and very impulsive, but he's not ADHD. He's not on any medication. There's none of that. He's cognitive, and these are the things that we have to learn to deal with because of trauma. We have to learn to. He hears a loud noise. He's like,
yeah. So
Yeah.
ways to calm
Sensory.
him, soothe him, sensory.
can't have any styrofoam around
Right.
that child. Oh my goodness, no styrofoam, no Dunkin'
Yep.
Donuts.
Yeah.
But now they have sensory movies. So
Yep.
Lisbon Landing, they do it a couple times a month on Sundays, I do believe. They'll have sensory-friendly movies for adults or children with autism at a lower rate, and it's less loud or, it's
Right,
all
right.
sensory.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of resources like that
Right.
also.
And then,
through
so
this.
those are the resources that we're trying to get
Big
out
time.
to people.
Right.
Big time. Events, resources.
Yeah.
Also, because I know my child is coming up to be college, even though there's no child left behind law. So he will continue to go forward. But I'm also president of a club at 3 Rivers that I promote mental health awareness on
Right.
campus, on a college campus. My son is going to come here, and I want to make sure it's going to be okay when he comes. I don't want him to be discriminated against or anything. He could be the president of this club. So we're collaborating here with SEMHSOC because even though it's adolescents and families, at a certain age, kids go to college too.
Right.
So I'm
Right,
gearing
so-
more towards there also.
Right. Would you say the majority, so you have a whole bunch of different issues in terms of the kids and the families you're serving. I was thinking, you know, some of that has to do with addiction, some of it maybe with autism.
Right.
And some of that with almost the equivalent, I think, of without being very educated on the subject, like fetal alcohol syndrome.
Big time.
Is
It's
what you're,
possible.
you know,
Possible.
is
Yep.
to me what you're describing is
Yep.
some of the ramifications that physicians and researchers now realize
Yeah.
that can cause detrimental stuff, or even a kid when you were pregnant, or anyone being pregnant, exposed to lead.
Yes.
Yep.
Diminishing, you know,
Yes.
this whole thing with Flint,
Yep.
Michigan.
Yes.
Yes, the water.
You know,
Yeah,
the
lead
whole
in the
idea,
water.
or God forbid, something like what's coming out of Brazil
Yep.
with a
Yes.
virus,
Mhm.
right?
Right, right.
So the aftermaths, the ramifications of
Yeah.
that, then fall into things that could happen just like this.
Right.
Yes.
And they're still trying to figure out why the autism count keeps climbing.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
at one time, 20 years ago, you didn't really hear about autism.
Right.
Now there seems to be more education, more theory on it, and they're still trying to figure out why it's 1 out of 20 now instead of 1 out of 200.
And primarily males and not females.
But still, females can still have it
Right.
because my youngest daughter, if she was diagnosed today, she would be diagnosed with autism. And the more I studied recently on what I was dealing with back then wasn't temper tantrums, wasn't bipolar, it was meltdowns. She would be so stressed out that she would just totally tear apart a room, and the only way to stop her would be to hold her down. And they taught me how to restrain her, but I had to hold her arms behind her back so she wouldn't bite me to try to break loose.
Very, very stressful on a family.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Especially when you're dealing with the opposite end, where any type of stressors would make the other one crawl into his
Triggers.
own shell and not be able to function and socialize.
Right, right. Well, I think that we know a lot about the brain, but we know nothing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But we're learning. I mean, there's more studies. So many studies now that are, you know, teaching us more about the brain
Yes.
and more how, you know, again, especially with trauma and traumatic events of things, the way that we can change our development of our, you know, of our brain.
Right,
Right.
right,
To heal.
right. Well, trying to fix things after the fact,
Yeah.
or make people aware of what's
Yes.
going on when they're pregnant or when the kids are very small, and try to make some changes early on. I guess, you know, early intervention, no matter what the
Exactly.
problem
Exactly.
is, can
Exactly.
be very much more useful than you know, waiting. Yes.
That's one reason why I moved back to Connecticut. My son was going into kindergarten, and my pediatrician, or you know, my family doctor said, "This town doesn't have the education for him." And then we just made. I grew up in Connecticut, and I knew what Connecticut had to offer for
Right.
schools and stuff. And I said, "You know what?" So in 1984, we moved back to Connecticut. We moved into Mansfield, where it's, and he's been going to EastCon. He was going to all different types of special education.
Right.
He's come a long way, but right now he's 30. He's going to be 38, and he's kind of like at home without a job. And financially, I wasn't able to get him to ARC all the time. It's just been a total struggle but one step at a time, we're
Right.
getting things set up for him. And Jet here asked me to join SEMHSOC, and it's been good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
do you, just personally, do you see my son, he's 13 now, at 37, going through the same struggles that your son is going through right now? Do you think my son will have more opportunities?
The problem is once they get out of the school
School system.
system, that there's it's very much lacking of services for the adults.
Yeah.
It seems like it's dropped. The ball is
Right.
dropped,
Yeah.
and the budget cuts and everything that's taking place is very scary. It's like, oh, the families can handle it, but there are times when the families need it. And I like to think that, you know, you attend to a church or something, and one of the guys in the church would say, hey, Robert, how would you like to go do this with me or do that with me? But I haven't found that yet, where he has somebody that I could trust
Right.
to
Yeah.
take him places and do things with him without me having
Come along.
to drive him places.
Yeah.
Like a mentor.
Yeah.
Like a mentor
Yeah.
or a
Buddy.
big brother
Yes.
or
Yeah.
an uncle or
Yeah.
Right.
because he hasn't had his father, and it was his choice to not have anything to do with his
Yeah.
father since he was 11. And I've tried different relationships, and
Yeah.
I got to the point where I'm good where I'm at with my relationships in life.
Yeah.
They're your kids, but they grow up, and I can imagine that then they grow out of the system. As leaky as the system might be, once you reach after like 21, I guess. you know,
21.
yeah, then it becomes even more difficult to find
Some of the
resources.
Resources.
Tell us about this new event that
Yeah,
you have
so
coming up, so
we-
we can inform the community.
Right. So on February. Oh my goodness, where did that come from? June 10th.
Valentine's Day.
Exactly. Right. On June 10th.
Forget the
At
romance.
Three Rivers Community College,
Yes.
we are working in collaboration with Three Rivers and Active Minds, the program that Jet was talking about, to put on a family health and wellness resource fair. And we actually have, as of today, I have 31 providers that will have a
Wow.
table to, basically talk about what they do, resources that they have available. But the event, we want to make the event fun for families. So we have Waterford Country School has animals that they're going to bring that they do a lot with pet therapy.
Oh,
so they have a dog and they have a rabbit and they have some other kinds of
Okay,
animals
okay.
that will be there. We have henna tattoos for little kids. We
From
have
OPP?
we have different
Like face painting and things
yeah,
like
and
that.
different games. We have a
Okay.
giant Jenga.
Giant Jenga. It's
Right.
huge.
I don't know what
life-size.
that is.
Jenga, where you pull the toy, you pull the little piece, but you can't make it fall.
Oh.
And
It's like a
it's
tower.
a huge tower. It's so
okay.
much fun.
And
Okay.
just different, activities for little kids, different kinds of play games. We have a band, so Kat can tell a little bit about that.
Okay, and
Yeah.
it's free. You just show up.
Everything's free.
Okay.
We have a hot dog truck coming, which will be free food. We have
Oh,
ice cream, which will
Very
be
nice,
free.
very nice.
Everything is free, and we will be doing prizes. We have some giveaways that we will, give people a ticket, and then they can win some gift cards that we have, and some
because it's
basket.
free, totally free, we can't, it's a raffle, but we can't give money. We're not getting paid. So at the end, again, I don't know if we're doing the stamp thing or they'll go around and they'll get all the information from the tables and they'll have fun getting the information at the tables, and then they'll call the number on the ticket for free and they win. I mean, so many people have donated so many wonderful, awesome prizes. It's amazing. It's
very
amazing.
nice.
Live band, free food.
So you
free
get like a little
popcorn.
card and somebody stamps
Yes.
them as you go from booth to booth
Yes.
to
Right.
booth, and those are the completed card, hand them in somewhere.
And then we'll pull prizes from there.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Throughout
Okay.
the night, and then free movie, free popcorn, and just fun for the whole family. Because
Right.
you can't take care of, like, my child is 13 with mental health. You can't take care of him without taking care of his older brother, me, everything else I'm going through. So you need car insurance. You need renter's insurance. You need senior resources in case grandma stays in the house too.
Yeah. So we have them at the table. We have senior
All people.
resources coming. We have an insurance company that wants to come to give
Yep.
out information.
Yep.
We have Rite Aid, actually. Rite Aid that's
Yes.
coming
Yep.
because they do a lot with wellness in the community.
Yes.
The YMCA because they have a
mentorship.
mentor program, and they also want to talk about. They do a really great job with memberships and scholarships for people.
And yes.
Um,
But also,
So-
the table, we still have tables available. The
Oh, so
tables
you're
are
looking
free.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're
So-
looking for
that's
um,
fun. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
you're
still,
looking
I
for
mean,
groups to come and
Yeah.
and you're not charging them anything.
No.
They
No.
can come any. So that could be any kind of wellness groups out
Any
there.
kind of wellness
anything.
group.
Would you accept things like gyms or play people like that?
That's fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Even if
Yeah.
you wanted to come and have a table just to give out your information of what you do here, that's fine.
Yeah.
As long as you a little activity for the family or something, you know,
Right,
something
right,
fun they could
right.
do or learn
Yeah.
or whatever. But
Okay.
they're open. We don't want to do last minute. We're trying to get the tables done now so we can just get the count and get them out there.
Sure.
But it's open to any. If you have you knit hats for grandma with cancer, I mean, we want you at the table. We want you to have a table. It's every single resource in the community getting out to the community.
Okay. And how big are your how big are you thinking? How many?
Well, right now I have 30. We have 31.
And you have the capacity for 50, or
It's Three Rivers. We
it's-
got
yeah,
outside
we
and
have-
inside.
Okay.
It's pretty
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a big
Yeah.
place. And
Right.
you have because you do some work with Three Rivers. Is that how they were so
Yes,
agreeable?
I'm parent co-chair for SEMHSOC, which is Southeast Mental Health System of Care, but I'm president of Active Minds. So SEMHSOC is a philosophy, like she said, it's not an organization, it's a collaborative, a bunch of people that get together, so we don't have any money. But Active Minds, being the president, I can allocate for money each academic year, so I can put some aside, and also gave us Three Rivers. So we were approved to have the space. We have outside, we have the cafeteria where we could just eat at, and then we have the multi-purpose room and also the movie room, free
Right.
popcorn, we got volunteers, it's nice.
Yeah.
I'm
Very
excited.
nice.
I'm very
In
excited.
our movie, you can
Zootopia?
Zootopia will be
Oh,
our movie.
Zootopia.
Zootopia. Okay.
Yeah, so that's
All
a
right.
new kind of a
Yes.
newer release.
Right.
So that should be fun.
And we have entertainment.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So,
entertainment.
Kit, you want to tell us about at least some of the entertainment? Are they the sole entertainment?
Yes.
Yeah, pretty
yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes, they're the sole. The band is called Smart Play. It's a fun, light, popular trio.
We've had them as guests here, so you can go look on my website there, communitycultureshowcase.weebly.com, and take a look, or here at the station, their website, and you can take a look at a little preview of the group. Go ahead.
It's I'm the promotional manager, and I just asked them, well, how about a band, and it's fallen into place
Right.
with that. So I'll be running around and taking pictures of promoting the band and promoting the different tables and stuff like that. So it's going to be a fun thing. I mean, the band is light, popular music
Right,
that's
right.
fun,
Right,
and you don't have to have earplugs for.
right.
And we're going to be
Yeah.
using the microphone to announce the winners and any other announcements that need to be done. So it's going to be. Really looking
Yeah.
forward to
Yeah,
this
Most of
event.
the, because I know the college, where is actually going to be held?
On their green, right? Is that what they
Where the
call that?
cafeteria is on the
yes,
green.
right in the
Okay, all
front.
right.
And then inside.
Yeah.
And then
and
inside.
there's always plenty of parking.
Exactly.
Right.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
So this is a day when school's probably not on, or
Correct.
Yes.
Well, we did afternoon, just in case some schools were still in session, but I believe
Right.
that's the last day of school for a lot of places in our area.
Okay. So 3 p.m.
Right.
It starts at 3. Can go for hours.
Well, it'd probably go till about 8 because
Oh,
we are
okay.
going to do, a lot of from 3 to 6. The provider, the tables will be there, and there'll be lots of games and activities.
Right.
And then from 6 to 8 will be the movie.
Ah, I see. Okay. Okay. What gave you the idea to do this?
Well, System of Care has always done a picnic for families in August.
Okay.
And we always did it at the beach. And we did that for many years, but then we just, how sometimes
You need
you
a
think,
new idea.
Yeah, you need something new. So again, we were all at our table at one of our meetings, and again, it was pretty much that family members were saying, we don't know what services are out there. So, and many community members don't know what services are out there for mental health.
Yes.
So we thought, let's have a health and wellness fair.
Right.
And we've been meeting as a committee. We got together a small committee from our larger group.
Right.
Since probably last August.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we've been planning this for almost a year.
Well, good
So,
events take time.
Yes. Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
they do.
And I found
Right.
also that it's not only family, we need family members at SEMHSOC so bad. We need family members, we need the voice, we need the youth voice, the family voice, we need them bad. So this is a huge opportunity for us to get members.
Yes.
But I also found that sitting at this table as a parent,
Right.
that it's not only us that don't know resources. This is a time where even providers will
Yeah.
come together and say, hey, listen, I have a family and they need this and that and I don't know where to get it. And then somebody will say, oh, well, we have this.
Right.
And now they hooked up. So it's not just parents, but it's providers too. And we need as many members as possible. There's people missing at this table, we need them. If there's local police, we need them. Ambulance, we need them. We need clergy. We have no clergy. We had a lady, she retired, and she was the clergy on the team. We have no clergy. We have, there's a lot of people missing. So by us getting this out, I'm hoping people will come, they'll join, they'll have a voice and help us advocate so that we can help the future cats
Yeah.
like me.
Yeah.
Well, it's a big job, and I think I know it sounds like bizarre, but because of the heroin epidemic,
Yes.
which
Oh,
has
yes.
left the ghetto and is now in middle class and upper class communities, that which is under the mental health umbrella,
Yeah.
I think that kind of problem has now alerted many more people who are probably indifferent to what you all are going through until now. And so now there are families who are scrambling to and I would imagine that many of the kinds of help that they need is the kind of help that you have
Right.
providers and family members who can provide. It could
Right.
be a piece of the mental health problem.
Right.
But now,
Yes.
families are overwhelmed and they don't know what to do.
Right.
And police don't want to really do this. This doesn't feel like it's something that they want to do, but they've been arming them with the right kind of drugs, and so that less and less people die. But I think, in its bizarreness, that issue now lends itself to be able to be an issue where your group and people like you can be valuable to families where they might have been, as I said, completely indifferent.
Definitely, because we have alcohol and drug dependency groups at our table.
Yep.
We definitely have substance abuse. We have people at the table like, hey, we have openings. Do you know families? So we give out that information. It's huge. It's very huge. And we'll have stuff like that at the resource fair also, hoping to get Community Speaks Out. They said they wanted to call. They haven't called and got a table yet. But they do a huge thing with the heroin epidemic going on right now, and they advocate for a lot. They give out Narcan and stuff, and they're a huge resource in the community. They also have a support group right here in Groton, actually, once a week. So it's very nice, and it's hard because the parents that are being addicted is going down to the children, and now it's open. People didn't know it was open, but now that it is open and it's coming from the pills, and people taking from car accidents and so forth, and then it turns into heroin. And it's not just black, it's not just white, it's everybody, it's every community. So we need to address the whole community.
Yes, when famous actors die, I think of what was his name, Seymour, who was this extremely great actor and had some kind of back problem.
Yep.
The course exactly run the same way.
Yes.
And because of the way the market runs, we do live in capitalism. It's cheaper to buy heroin on the street than it is to go and get those pills. And of course, I mean, if blame is to be made, and my daughter is a physician. Part of that is she will say outwardly it is the physician population. They were really uninformed.
Yeah.
And a lot of family physicians trying to do the right thing
Right.
were uneducated
Yes.
And it turned out to be a disaster. It truly is turning out to be a disaster. And it's an American disaster. It's not a, there are addicts and drunks everywhere in the world. But this particular problem is an American problem. It's a problem that we created with the help of, Mexican heroin drug dealers. And it is a nightmare. So in its own bizarreness, that then lends credibility to this whole issue about families dealing with mental health issues.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yep.
And I would imagine, although again, I'm not certainly an expert, but I would imagine that many times traditional drug addiction and certainly alcohol is part of maybe an underlying issue with a mental health issue.
Yes.
Can be.
Depression or something else
Right.
out there. You self-medicate.
Oh, yeah.
And so what do you self-medicate with? Whatever's available. And it's always legal to get a drink. So that's kind of a bizarre thing that's kind of changing where we're going with this stuff.
And it's good that we do the whole family, because a lot of times there's parents that are stuck. They got tossed through that, okay, these parents have mental health issues. They've never been diagnosed because they slipped through the cracks. And now they have children who have the same issues, if not worse, and they don't know what to do. So by us wrapping the whole family, not just the child, like, oh, you have issues, let's work on you. Let's help everybody and educate the whole family, and then we work together.
So everybody's getting the support that they need.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah,
Well,
back then it was easier to blame the parent
Yes,
than
absolutely.
understand,
Right,
because I had somebody tell me that if they worked with me, then everything would run smoothly. And then they had my daughter for a while, and then they realized, oh, wow.
All you gotta do is say, take them. You take them, and then you let me know.
Well, the whole system, when it devotes itself to trying to keep a child within the family, it is a tremendous, if nothing else, a cost savings to the state. I mean, we don't need institutions, but we do need constant support.
Right.
And years ago, I worked with, I'm not a nurse or anything, but I worked in a health department, and we had a program, I don't know whether it still exists or not, and regardless of who you were, you didn't have to be poor. Once you had a baby, nurses went into your home. I don't know if many people are watching Call the Midwife, which is a BBC done drama on public television, but that model of where the nurse goes into the home and helps with things like even if you're well-to-do and you have no concept of what it is to hold a baby, the nurse comes in and shows mom, shows dad, at home.
That's nice.
Yeah.
At home. Now that was a program that was in existence, and it was not designed for low-income people. It was designed for anybody who never, who wanted help, or if you had, several kids. It became overwhelming. You bring a baby back in.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We have one of our members is Nurturing Families, which is from L&M, and they do some similar programs to what you're talking about, and they will be at our table, at our provider fair, giving out more information.
Phenomenal resource.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Oh, yeah, I'm impressed with what she had said about that.
Yep.
I mean, the concept is to kind of nip problems right away.
Absolutely. That's the early intervention.
Exactly. And again, it could be just because you have, if we grow up in smaller and smaller families, so it isn't like the old days when you might be one of 6, so you have experience having kids in the house and seeing babies. Some, modern families are solo parent. I mean, there's just one kid. They have no idea what to do. They don't have a parent like a mother or a grandmother around to kind of show them the ropes. It can be very disarming when you have a kid who just doesn't stop crying.
And I think part of, I think your experience with the system of care too is helping to find natural resources, right?
Yes.
People, so it's not just because providers are going to be out of the picture, right? We want providers to, work themselves out of the picture. So you still need support. So it's helping look at what are those natural supports? Who are the people in your life?
Or what is the place?
Right?
It doesn't always have to be a person. I went to one rap meeting and they said, well, where is your safe place? Where is it that you find, or who? And I don't have a who, I have a place. So if I go to the beach with my son, we're both at peace. There's no fighting, no arguing, nothing. We're both at peace. So that's my natural, but I taught the provider something
Yeah.
that day because they said, oh, it doesn't have to be a person for respite. Like,
Yeah.
no, it can be a
Right.
place.
Yeah.
So it's true, because what happens if No Wayne closes or UCFS closes? What am I going to do?
Right.
I'm going to
Right.
go in crisis? No, I have a crisis intervention plan. I'm going to go to the beach, and if it's wintertime, I'm going to make the beach come to my house and build this little box, and I'm going to have sea
Yeah,
shells.
no, really. Absolutely.
This is what I've learned
That's
through
the
this.
sensory part
yes,
of it, right?
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes. And educate myself as much as possible, and that's what
Right.
I've learned through this. So I have to tell everybody.
No, that's
Right.
great. Well, we want to, again, getting close to the end of the show, we want to again promote the idea, June 10th,
Yes.
Yep.
Three Rivers Community College,
Yes.
3 p.m.
Yes.
If you are a provider of whatever, you still have opportunity. It's
Yep.
free. You can get and meet people. All those families out there with kids at risk, other family members, you need a little information, you want a little help, you want a little guidance, come on down. Lots of fun, lots of games. Bring the kids.
Yep.
You can bring the babies.
Yep.
You can
Lots
bring
of
grandma.
activities. Yep.
And then there's a movie at the end, popcorn, free food. It's just going to be a fun time, and we certainly hope the weather
Exactly.
We'll go inside.
Right,
if not.
but we can go inside.
It's a big place.
Exactly.
Right,
It's a big
yes.
place.
Lots of rooms in that place.
Right.
So absolutely. So I want to let everybody know June 10th. The other thing is that it's an opportunity for people. This is Mental Health Awareness Month. And I say it again, and it's a tragedy really that this whole heroin problem has opened up to many people's awareness of this whole bigger issue of mental health. But there are a lot of other people suffering out there with mental health issues that, they should come to this June 10th event, see what's available. And the other thing I thought that was really valuable that you said today was 211.
Yeah.
Don't
Yes.
call the cops.
Yes.
Many police departments the guys
Right.
are absolutely not
Absolutely.
trained to be able to deal with
Absolutely.
mental health issues. 211, which is, I think, funded
No,
by
that's for
United
only
Way.
adolescents, though. So
Okay.
it's only for children, I think, under 21 versus
If they're in school.
or something.
Oh, well,
so
that's
the
a
gray
lot
area.
of people.
Yes.
But there is also emergency mobile psych for adults. So if it is her
Yes.
son that is out there and she can't control him, she can call 886-9302 and have that information where they can come out and assess.
Say it again
also.
slowly.
886-9302. 860-886-9302.
Okay, that's when you have an older person.
older-
That's for an adult
Yeah,
who's
an
having a
adult.
crisis, or they can't focus or too much anxiety. You can call them. They'll come and assess the same way. So children, adolescents, 211. Make sure you hit 1 after 211 or else you'll be on hold forever.
Okay.
And then 886-9302 for the adults. And there's support groups out here. We have a support group for families that has childcare the first Thursday of every month at Waterford Country School.
Yes.
Safe Home. We only use the space downstairs. There's light food, childcare. I mean, we have support groups. We have opportunities.
So they
we
should
have
go ahead and
events.
look on the Facebook page
Yes,
and look on the
absolutely.
website.
Absolutely.
Very good. So I'm so glad that you came. And for people to remember, mental health actually affects many, many more people than they want to admit.
Yes.
So,
Exactly.
so this is Harriet Grayson, your host and producer of Community Culture Showcase. I want to give out a couple of promos. We here at SEC TV are having our art show June 15th. Please come out and support us. That we have some wonderful art, all kinds of art, from small little pictures, photographs, big pieces of art. I want the whole community to come on out and support us. Support your local artists. They're all for sale, and there's a whole variety of stuff for you. There'll be a little light refreshments, but again, we want to support local artists. June 15 is our big art show, and if there are artists out there, whatever, visual artists of one kind or another, photographers out there, even some sculptors, let us know. Contact me directly or call SEC TV Studio and let us know about your artwork and how you're interested in showing your art. We're trying to do this on a regular basis, so and we will have a featured artist, but there's a lot of wonderful artists out there, so we want to welcome you. Come and display your stuff at our show and tell all your friends and family to come June 15th here in the studio starting at 5:30. And also, here's my own promo. On June the 2nd, I will be giving a play reading of my play Sasha Perloff Detective at the Westerly Chamber. Thank you.